Hi, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I am genuinely so happy that you're here. And I want to start today by just recognizing that anything that I talk about on here is not about preaching or having all of the answers. It's very far from it. This is just a space where I want to share my own journey as I grow as a Christian and just learn more about anxiety and faith and mental wellness and all of the things that just really make us whole. So maybe today you are struggling with anxious thoughts, or maybe you're just ready to lean into something a little bit deeper. Either way, I hope this conversation just encourages you. So anxiety, let's talk about anxiety. Anxiety for me, which has in fact improved tremendously, although I would be lying if I said that it doesn't come back and try to creep in because it's rude like that. When I have had real issues with anxiety, it often feels like this very heavy weight of fear. And it's just the fear of the unknown and fear of what might happen next. And that's all it is. That's what anxiety, it really is. But here's something that has really helped me. And it's the simple truth that anxiety is linked to fear, and fear often comes when we just lose sight of our value and our protection in Christ. And when I remember that I am deeply loved and cared for by God, it helps me to start to unravel the grip that fear really has. Side note, I heard this from another podcaster. His name is Rob Dial, and he does the Mindset Mentor podcast. So he had an episode where he was talking about anxiety, and he said that anxiety has increased significantly. About 2 to 3 times more people are now struggling with anxiety today compared to 10 years ago. I know, it's crazy. He also just highlighted that anxiety is a natural response to stress and perceived threats. Take that note, perceived. And he shared another powerful statistic from a psychologist, and this was that something that will just blow your mind. About 85% of what we worry about never happens. And the remaining 15%, most of that turns out better than we feared anyway. I want you to think about things that have happened in your life and things that you've been really anxious about and see if that all makes sense, because it likely will. So what this really means is that 3% of our worries actually happen as bad as we imagine. This insight really was something that helped me. I like to go back to that a lot to just change my perspective and encourage a healthier mindset towards the whole idea of anxiety. So what about anxiety and the Bible? Well, there are definitely many powerful verses that have helped me with this perspective. First of all, 1 Peter 5:7 says, "Cast all your anxieties on him because he cares for you." Psalms 55:22 teaches us to cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. These aren't just words on a page, okay? The Bible, of course, is the living word, and they're promises that you can lean on when anxiety hits. And something that I like to do is I do a snapshot, like a snapshot picture of those verses from the Bible, and I leave them somewhere convenient in my phone because we always have our phone on us, of course. And I can just simply remind myself of those things when it starts to creep in. So that's very important, is just having that self-awareness of knowing, oh my gosh, it's starting to creep in. What do I have in my pocket that I can easily use and refer to in order to change this before it gets out of control? So create an album in your phone, like a picture album to refer to. You can call it anxiety. And whenever it rears its ugly head, go to that and help yourself before it gets out of hand. Another beautiful story is Luke, one of my favorite books in the Bible. So in chapter 8, where Jesus calms the storm for his disciples, they were absolutely terrified, yet Jesus was peaceful in the midst of chaos. That is my ultimate goal as a mother at all times, to be like Jesus in that moment. But it reminds us that faith doesn't mean that there's not going to be storms, because there, in fact, will be storms. but God's presence is there to carry us through them when they come. So trusting him during those challenging times is what really will start to anchor us. So how do we practically start to move forward with anxiety? So here are a few things that have really helped me. First of all, like I said, acknowledging your feelings without judgment. So being honest about anxiety is a very brave thing. And when you do these types of things, I want you to make sure that you reward yourself for them, because it's going to start to rewire your dopamine very slowly but surely, to start to recognize, like, these are the things that are going to change me and make me happy and set me on an even path. Okay. So another one is to practice gratitude in prayer, even when things feel uncertain. Thank God for the small things and his constant presence. This is one that I truly need to remind myself of on a daily basis, because I really just don't think that it's natural for us, unfortunately, as humans, to automatically go to gratitude, but we typically will complain and see what's not here instead. So that is something that we have to remind ourselves of. Really start to reframe your thoughts. When anxious thoughts arise, just gently remind yourself of God's promises and your inherent worth. I mean, this is really something that takes a lot of work. Take it from me, who has worked on this for a very long time and realized that I have to work on these things. I knew in these times that panic attacks were becoming all too natural for me, and labored breathing was something that I had to learn how to slow down. And then I just literally had to tell my body to relax, because I was, in fact, in that moment, safe and loved and worthy. And whatever this panic attack or anxiety attack that was coming on, it's just temporary. So continue to remind yourself that it is just temporary. It will go away. And it's natural for you to also have those feelings. Okay. Also, this is a great one. Breathe and silence the noise. So take deep breaths. If you can take 10 really, really, really deep breaths and then blow out. Okay. Step outside if you need to, or somewhere where you can have a quiet moment. Count to 10. This is something I practice all these things with my children all the time. Give yourself some kind of daily reminder wherever and however you can. Here's my daily reminder. Romans 8:39, neither height nor depth, nor anything in between will separate us from the love of God, which we receive from Jesus Christ. And this means, it's really hard to put this in there, God's love is bigger than the highs and the lows. So talk about a daily reminder that I have, like, right on my wrist. You don't have to get a tattoo, but figure out a way where you can just easily have those things with you at all times. If you are dealing with anxiety, know that it's okay to struggle. It is really a part of being human, but also know that you don't have to face it alone. Lean on your faith, lean on the truth in God's word, and just renewing your mind. I'm on this journey too, and learning and growing every single day. I have to work on it every single day. Things aren't perfect, and they're never going to be perfect. And it's something that is ongoing, which is really a beautiful thing when we know that something like this is ongoing, that we're continuing. It's so important to just remember to trust and have faith and enjoy the process, as ugly as the process is, because the journey from point A to point B is a journey. And that's something that we have to remember. That's another way that we really kind of reset our dopamine. That's a conversation for another day. We will get into that at some point. But I hope that this conversation really encouraged you and helped you. And I think the big thing that I just want you to understand is that if you are dealing with some kind of anxiety or panic attacks, like, you are not alone. You heard the statistics at the beginning. I have dealt with it. I deal with it still. I know plenty of people that deal with anxiety at all times. I was a teacher for 13 years, and I had lots of students that dealt with anxiety. And it's a real thing. The world is tough. Things are tough. But I have found that being able to lean on my faith has been the number one way that has truly, finally helped. I tried for years, a lot of different things, but leaning on my faith has been something that has truly helped me. It is an anchor. It is the firm foundation that we all need. another thing, of course, that I'll continue to refer back to is if you know that you're getting out of touch and you're starting to like lose your fire for your faith or whatever it is, maybe you're not even that faithful of a person, and that's okay. I invite everybody to come talk and maybe learn a little bit more about it. But if you just know and you're starting to get in tune to your body and you're starting to really have that self awareness, which is really a superhuman power, to be honest, which is crazy. But if you start to get in tune and you're like, things are just off, I've just been off for a couple of days, whether it's anxiety or whether it's something else that you just know that things aren't the same, you're not as happy as you usually are, it's just cloudy. I highly recommend that you think about doing some kind of fast from something, whether it's social media, whether it's food, whether it's alcohol, sugar. All of these things are intended to clear out our minds. They really will help us with our relationship with Jesus. I can tell you from personal experience from all of 2025, fasting from alcohol has been, it's been a godsend. It was literally a godsend because God told me to do it. So if you're feeling that way and you're stuck, try fasting just for like a day or two of something that that is taking over. Like I said, it does not have to be food. It does not have to be like something that everybody thinks is just the typical fasting thing. I have started to fast from my phone on Sundays so that I can be more present with my family. And I tell you what, it's a game changer and I highly recommend it. So think about doing that. And if you want a little bit more about fasting, I have a video and I'll pop it up here about fasting and how that can help you to not only change your relationship with Jesus, but also to just heal your anxiety and heal all the things that you're going through. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope to see you on the next one.